Nicole Huntsman here from moderncosmic.com. We have got our sun sign compatibility here on this video. If you know what sun sign means, fast forward to the timestamp you see or the description of the video. So in Western astrology, we take the year, the 12 calendar months, okay, and we divide them up according to the Earth's relationship to the sun. And this makes sense if you think back in the day when we were farmers. The movement of the sun, it's actually our movement, the tilt of our Earth relative to the sun and how it affects the seasons was very important. Springtime, time to plant, summertime to take care of and tend the fields, and of course fall time to harvest, and then winter was time to preserve the things that you had stored and make them last till spring again. Now, in astrology, we look at these 4 important dates that are repeatable, they happen every year, and they are the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, and the winter solstice, okay? We have our zodiac signs all set up according to these solar events. In the springtime, when we have our spring equinox, March 21st, this is that time of year when the equator of the Earth is facing the sun, directly, and the Earth is level, so to speak. So, we are on an axis and the Earth tilts. At this point in the year, we're level. That's why you can spin an egg and it will spin. Now, that's the beginning of the zodiac year, and really should be the beginning of our year. It would make sense to have the time when we go from winter, where we have more darkness than light, to the time when it's equal. We have an equal amount of daylight and equal amount of darkness, and then we move into the time of the year, the spring, when we have more light and less darkness each day, okay, until we hit the summer solstice, where we have the most light, more light, and less of the darkness. So with the zodiac, your sun sign falls during a month between those 4 events. So your sun sign is going to fall into one of these segments, okay? We've got the 12 months divided up into 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, according to those solar events. And then in each of those sections, we have 3 zodiac signs, okay? Your sun sign is important in that it shows your general life force. If you think of the sun is the star in our solar system. It is the mass, the giant mass, relative to us anyway, that is holding our solar system together. Without the sun, without our star, we wouldn't be here, and if something happened to our sun, we would all die, we would perish. We eat food that's made from the energy of the sun. We are literally made of sun, which is pretty cool. Someone's sun sign shows you the basic premise upon which their personality is built. It's like a canvas that we're going to paint upon. It doesn't have any paint on it yet, it's just the canvas. Is it wood? Is it metal? Is it canvas? Is it a panel? Is it round? Is it square? How big is it? How little is it? The zodiac sign will sort of illuminate, and it will explain and make granular sort of this very basic part of what we have to work with, okay, with the personality. So it's the first step in building, when you're looking at an astrology birth chart, it's the first thing you look at because you're going to build upon it, all right? And then all the brushstrokes come with the moon and all the angular houses and the planets and the aspects between the planets. That's when it becomes a beautiful picture. But until then, it's just you're one of the 12 zodiac signs. This is very general. Sun signs are general. It's a general vibe. You've got someone who's kind of more of a feeler, someone who's more of a thinker. But there are all different types of feelers and there are all different types of thinkers, okay? We get that granularity by looking at the entire birth chart and by putting the 2 people together, okay? You can have a feeler and a thinker get together and be really happy if they've got other things in their birth chart that make nice compatibility interaspects. If for some reason your sun signs don't get along well, let's say we've got someone who is, I don't know, let's say we've got a Capricorn and an Aquarius, very different energies. Capricorn's conservative, Aquarius is an iconoclast and does their own thing. On the surface, sun sign wise, these 2 aren't going to jive perfectly. But if you look underneath, maybe they have moons that are both in water, and it gives them an emotional warmth, or it gives them an emotional depth to the cooler Capricorn Aquarius facade. There's another thing you want to look at between your compatibility charts. There are several, but another important primary planetary aspect that you want to look at, or planetary placement, I should say, that you want to look at. And I'm going to talk about this at the end of the video, so stay tuned, watch the compatibility, and at the very end I'll explain to you how to find If your sun compatibility isn't great, there's another thing you can look at that will indicate whether or not the two of you are going to have long-lasting happiness together, or if it's going to be sort of a no-win battle, okay? All right, let's get on to our sun signs, and please leave me comments if you have questions, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Taurus are the individuals born April 20th through May 20th. Now, this is the time of year, if you were to imagine we're back 2,000 years and we're farming, this is the time of year we would be planting. We'd be planting our seeds, at least here in the northern hemisphere, which is where this type of astrology comes from, Western astrology. Taurus is all about the possession. It's all about the five senses of our physical bodies and operating through this physical these three dimensions that we are here in. So Taurus, ruled by Venus, has to do with the sensual pleasures of the body, but also this idea that we can, as individual protagonists in our own story, possess things. So this is our money, this is our physical possessions, and this is also things more abstract, I suppose. Our self-esteem and our talents, the things that we possess inside of ourselves. Taurus sun signs are slower moving, predictable. They like things to unfold in a way where they know what to expect. And if you think about a farm and you think about planting seeds, you do them if you want to be productive with your farm. You plant them in rows and you do them a certain amount of space between each other, and you water them regularly, and there's a consistency there, okay? There's a routine and an earthy sort of habit that is followed in order to be productive. Have a concrete, practical way of thinking, or way of being rather, because this is a sun sign. With a Taurus, you do have someone who's somewhat stubborn. They have in their mind a plan for how they'd like things to unfold, and they'll get there when they're going to get there, and you can't push them and prod them, okay? Now also, Taurus being ruled by Venus, these individuals appreciate nice things. A lot of times someone who has strong Taurus in their chart, they either like luxury items, they're highly motivated by working hard and making money, or they enjoy the arts, music, whether it's creating it or just listening to it and enjoying it and being a patron of the arts and music. These are very Taurus, and Taurus loves food. Again, and sex. This is the body, being in a body, having a spirit in this human form where we get to experience the pleasures of what comes with this body. On the high side with Taurus, we have steadfast, loyal, determined, artistic, usually. Sometimes they're not artistic. Sometimes it comes out in other ways, like it comes out in the enjoyment of the arts or the enjoyment of food and these things I've talked about before, the five senses. They are understanding and affectionate. They're calm. They like peace and harmony in their relationships. Okay, this is Venusian. They're practical, sensual, passionate people. Their passion is different than the Aries passion. The passion of a Taurus is more slower moving and sensual, and it's more consistent. You know, Aries, the sign we did earlier, would just kind of flare up, whereas Taurus is going to come out slowly and sensually. Now, on the shadow side, or if you've got a low-functioning Taurus, you can have someone who's stubborn, who's materialistic, who's hedonistic. They are focused way too much on the outside and not on the inside. There's an unmovable nature to a shadow, low-functioning Taurus. They can be possessive, afraid of change. They have a really strong need for security, and so they're afraid to sort of break out from situations they know aren't best for them. So they can overstay bad relationships or bad situations at work, or just life situations, just be in the same career for years that they don't like, but it's the devil you know is safer than the devil you don't know. And they can be a little lazy and a little vain. That's our Venus. Now this is low functioning. Taurus in love. Taurus appreciates beauty, all right? Taurus sun signs, whether it's male or female, whatever their personal idea of beauty is, they will have, it's going to be high on their list of things that will matter to them. They need to be physically attracted to their partner. They are quite lusty and sensual, the sun sign. Once they have gotten to know someone, once they've decided that this is the one for them, they're affectionate, and the way they show their love is through they do enjoy giving their partner gifts, sharing things with them, but also really affection and sex. There's a possessiveness to a Taurus. They're on the axis of possession with a Scorpio as well. So they can at times be a little bit possessive, and they need to know that their partner is theirs. So they can have some issues with security and needing to feel safe and secure. Taurus expectations in love. Taurus types, Taurus Sun Signs, they're looking for security, and they're looking for a relationship that is grounded in reality. They wouldn't really be stoked about a relationship that was like based on the internet, you know, like a long distance relationship, unless you had a Taurus with a ton of Aquarius in their chart, and that's a whole other story. But for the most part, Taurus, pure Taurus sun sign, they like to have you there in their presence. They want someone to build a life with. They want harmony. They want to enjoy the daily pleasures with their partner. They like good food. They like a nice regular sex life. They like to dance in the kitchen while they're cooking dinner together. They just want simple, authentic, real love. Okay, that's their expectations, and they expect loyalty. So you give that to them, and you have got a happy bull. Now, Taurus's biggest fear, they worry about security. This is why you've got a sun sign that's so focused on making money or proving themselves through their ability to be successful or have control over their ability to create income. That's why it's underneath it is an insecurity, a worry that they will be without. So this includes the partner. They do have a fear of their partner leaving them. And so they need a partner that is consistent, steady, does what they say they're going to do, shows up when they're supposed to, and is reliable. Ultimately, that will put their heart at ease and keep them happy and harmonious. So are folks born from June 21st through July 22nd. Cancer is traditionally the crab. That's the animal that we've used as the symbol for Cancer. I like to think of a turtle. I think a turtle is a more apt symbol because with the turtle, yes, the Cancer does have a little bit of a crunchy outer shell, right? And they like to pull themselves in when it's time to withdraw if they're in a situation where they feel threatened. But ultimately, it's also because they kind of carry their home around on their back. Cancer types are nostalgic. They have a hard time getting rid of things, whether it's things, objects, or old lovers or old friends. They hold on to the people or the things or the thoughts, even the values that they consider important and that they have placed high on their, ladder of personal values or people that have made an impact on their heart. So with Cancer, you've got an individual who's interested in security. That's why they, with objects or money, they're good savers. A lot of times it's because they're trying to create this safe space in their life, all right? It's their womb. We associate Cancer with the home. We associate Cancer with, it's more of an introverted expression, okay? So Cancer is a lot of times, if you had a pure Cancer, this is someone very sensitive and they are intuitive about where someone else is at emotionally, and they won't necessarily say anything. A lot of times they'll just see you and they'll notice you, and perhaps they're like sponges. They'll take things in, they'll take information in without you really maybe even knowing that they're taking it in, and then it will come back out later. They'll see you sort of repeat a pattern and they'll see, oh, okay, this person's experiencing this, and they'll come give you a hug, or they will touch you, or they will offer to make you a meal, or this is a Cancer thing. They're really sensitive to noticing these patterns in other people's emotional behavior. Even if you have a Cancer with an airy or an earthy moon, there's still this sponginess to them. Okay, so edit this part. Hopefully this doesn't make this onto the video. Okay, so on the high side with Cancer, we've got someone who is sensitive to others. We've got someone who does have a strong ambition. Their desire to create security feeds their drive. It feeds their career ambitions many times. You've got someone warm and affectionate. They have a nostalgic kind of nature. Gardener. She plants anywhere she's lived, that she's always had these beautiful flowers and whatnot, and she kind of collects plants. She collects them and puts them around her, and makes this little plant home, and then she of course takes care of them. That's very Cancer, that hobby of hers. And then my boyfriend, for example, when he travels a lot for work. He'll keep his flight. His flight tickets or his receipts, and he'll use them in his books as little bookmarkers, and they're little mementos to remind him of the trip, and they're also something he's keeping physically around him. So that's kind of Cancer high side, but they're little pack rats in a way. But there's a nostalgic quality or sentimental nature to it. They also are really great at, as I said earlier, recognizing needs. They have this mothering instinct, this desire to make you feel better and to give you love and to take care of you. And in particular, if you're sick or if you're, I don't know, just sad, emotionally having a hard time, that really pains them. They want to make you feel better. Okay, so on the low side with the Cancer, they can be, because they're, like I said, there's this introverted expression of their life force. They can sometimes appear to be aloof or cold or standoffish, and they kind of are. Remember, like the crab with his little shell and his pinchers, like he's like, ah, but really a crab on the inside is mush, right? So they're protecting. They sometimes will stand back and sort of hang back, see if they're safe and secure in a situation, and then they'll interject themselves. So they have a, you know, there's an introversion there of their self-expression. They can sometimes withdraw from conflict. A lot of the water signs, when there is heavy-duty fighting or a conversation that needs to happen that's not a comfortable conversation, water signs can sometimes withdraw. They check out, they back off, and they move away from the fight. Even if you have someone that's quite aggressive in other ways, they can sometimes, when things become, they can sometimes pull back and be a little passive aggressive. So that's something that Cancers, you know, are known for. And it's almost because it's like, they don't want to be hurt also, of course, but it's also, they pull back from the fight a little bit, and then they have to kind of regather themselves. And then many times they'll come back. So in a relationship, my puppy's being crazy. Oh my gosh. In a relationship with a Cancer, you just have to, sometimes they do just need that time too, where they're introverted and they're doing their own thing. So just let them do it, and they'll come back out. They'll turtle their heads back out. Oh, also, they can be a little bit slow to open up. It also goes with the need for security. They can be moody. They can be broody like a broodmare, you know, kind of goes along with the motherly aspect. They have times in their life where they need to introvert, pull back, and just, you know, be to themselves so they can process things. And just let them do it. They'll come back out. So, okay, Cancer in love. Now, Cancer is our zodiac sign that is sort of the most in flux. It's ruled by the moon, and our moon is constantly changing in our sky every couple of hours even, right? It's moving, and I mean, it's changing every second. It's moving to some degree every second. So Cancer is the same. Cancer, and because also think of the moon, how we can see one side of the moon and the other side is in total darkness. This is like the Cancer's emotional nature in a sense. There's a polarity there. There's earlier, they need to be inside of themselves, okay? Now, a Cancer with a really good partner would be someone that recognizes that and protects that in the Cancer. And my boyfriend, who's Cancer, has a quote that I have a duty to protect the solitude of the partner. And that is the perfect quote for a Cancer to hold as their ideal quote about what ideal love looks like. It's your job to protect your partner's space and their feelings, and also it's your job to provide them with a little womb where they can truly open up and emotionally give you what they have to give and receive what you have to give to them. They are very deep people, and their ability to love relationships. So. Okay, so Cancers, their expectations in love. Cancers are interesting. So while they have that introversion need, they also really enjoy having their partner physically around them. Whether they're kind of at home or just like running errands, they like being with their partner. There is a comfort there to having that other person physically close to them. It's a grounding kind of a comfort. And it's home. It's like their home. So at home, obviously, being with you, but then also just going out and doing things together. That's something they enjoy, because it's like taking their little home with them. Remember, they're sentimental. They like to hold on to things. And so if you're their partner that they love, then they'll want to like be with you. They'll want to have you with them. Okay. All right. Edit. So safety and security is also really important to the Cancer. They expect their partner to be loyal and to be devoted to them. And it's interesting, jealousy from a Cancer is different than you'd see from perhaps an Aries or like a fire sign like a Leo. Jealousy in all the signs is different. That would actually be a good video. That'd be an interesting video series. Jealousy in a Cancer, it comes more from hurt feelings. It's more like, I gave you all of this. I gave you all of me, and now I feel like you took advantage of that and have been focusing your directions elsewhere, you know. So they want to feel like it's safe for them to love you, and it's safe for them to accept your love in return, and that you're not going to hurt them once you're inside their little soft, mushy, you know, places. Okay, Cancer's biggest fear. You know, Cancer, they're moody, they're emotionally deep, and they sometimes go to dark places. It's really common for Cancer suns even, you know, Cancer mood even more so. There's an emotional depth there. This is the part of them that's vulnerable, and it's the part that they may worry may be unlovable, okay? That it's too much, and like they're exposed. So their fear is that that's ultimately unlovable. Of course, it's completely incorrect. You know, we're all lovable. So with your Cancer, just be tender with them and make sure that they know that you appreciate the things that they do for you, and that you show them in return through your actions that you love them. Okay. All right, Taurus and Cancer, these two are happy, harmonious, and comfortable together. This is a little homey combination. You've got two people who like security, they like safety, and they prefer to have their material comforts kind of taken care of. So with Taurus, you know, Taurus will be attracted to Cancer's sensitivity and Cancer's intuition. Taurus is a little more practical and grounded, and they're not quite as you know, intuitive and emotional the way that a Cancer is. So, but the two of them together can be a really nice couple. The Taurus can give some stability and structure and shape and consistency and reliability to the Cancer, and the Cancer from the Taurus, or to the Taurus with the Taurus, nurture and care and devotion. So they have a very sensual, emotive, sexual chemistry. They're a nice match that way. Long-term interaction. Okay, this is a great match for the long-term. Both are interested in security. They're interested in commitment and, you know, long-term relating, building a home together, having a family together. Like I said, Cancer will nurture and care for Taurus's physical needs and emotional needs as well. And the Taurus will, in turn, give stability and structure and commitment, and will show up for the Cancer, so the Cancer is able to feel safe and secure. Areas of conflict for these two: you may have issues with boredom. You could have issues with just, you know, things are going to be really consistent. And if you've got one of the partners who has maybe a fiery moon or an air moon, or, you know, some placements that would suggest that person has more of a need for movement, then you could have that party could get a little bit bored with this sun sign combination. But overall, it's a nice secure base to build a relationship upon. Specific areas of harmony, these two, again, they both are interested in home, family, safety, security, pleasures of life in the setting of, you know, from your own sort of home court. So these two really make a lovely long-term partnering. The harmony is just a nice sextile of energy, and so they get along well. Okay, how others will see this partnership. Other people will probably want to come to your house for dinner. You know, I mean, you'll just be thought of as kind of a couple that's just a natural couple that people will want to spend time with.